Hello and welcome to the Freeman, Toledo, Oregon, a podcast of the Toledo, Oregon Public Library. My name is Sophia.
I'm Harrison.
And I'm Cindy.
And today we're here to talk about the weather.
It's going to be exciting.
Yes.
Very exciting.
And weather adjacent things.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Okay. So, first up, we have the news. New month, new news. Okay, we're just going to go over a couple of things very briefly, and then throughout the month, we'll talk about all the other cool stuff we got going on. So, tomorrow we have Steam Saturday, and we have Paint and Sip, and they're all full. I'm very excited to see everybody and have so much fun.
Yes.
And then on Tuesday, January 3rd, starting that day, from the front desk, you can grab a packet of Za'atar for free to try. And then at the end of the month, you'll come back with a recipe that includes Za'atar. We'll talk about that more later, but starting this Tuesday, pick up your spice packet of Za'atar at the front desk. And additionally, February is Library Lovers Month, so you can come and pick up a bingo page. And the bingo page has like challenges for books for you to read. And if you get like 5 in a row, you get a bingo and you turn it in for a prize. If you get a blackout, I have very special prizes, but you know,
Yeah, cool.
bring it in at 5. So you can grab the bingo things at the front desk, and that's it. That's what I got.
Fantastic. I'm going to make a suggestion. I want to see somebody try the Za'atar in a dessert.
A dessert?
Ooh, I don't even know what Za'atar is.
I
so-
feel
all
like
right.
you could make it work with a dark chocolate somehow. I think there's a way.
Okay, go ahead,
I'm just going
Harrison.
to propose that. I'm not going to try it. I'll mess it up. It's a good savory spice mixture, but I think there's a way.
Okay. Well, this last week, if you listened to last week's podcast, we were very disappointed to not have this particular beverage in-house.
Yes. Today.
So Sophia came through.
Yeah.
And we have
Dr. Pepper and cream soda.
Nice.
So we're going to try that. And I will say I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great.
It's because I don't like cherries. I don't like maraschino cherries. And that's what it tastes like to me.
I like maraschino cherries. I've never put a maraschino cherry in a Dr. Pepper, but I'd do that. I'll do it right now.
I know that my family drinks Dr. Pepper blackberry. And I've heard that's good. I'm like, okay. But it still tastes like Dr. Pepper, right? Oh, don't give me that much.
I'll give this one to Harrison.
Yeah.
Okay.
He likes it.
You had a Dr. Pepper yesterday.
I had a Dr. Pepper for lunch today.
Oh, today.
I'm all-
that was
yeah.
it? The
All
end?
right.
Dr. Pepper?
No.
Oh.
I also had some chili macaroni.
Ooh.
Um,
Yum.
This
but
smells
this
like
smells.
Dr. Pepper to me. Does
I
you guys
don't smell
the
any cream
soda?
soda. No, it just smells like Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
It has a kind of cherry almond vibe to it. I
It
think
does. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh,
Womp womp.
Actually, I kind of like it, which is like,
Man,
you guys, the Dr. Pepper people are like, ugh.
it's
Like,
not
this isn't so
bad. It's not bad.
it's not
I would
bad.
drink it, but it's not like, I'm not like, wow, this is
Yes.
amazing. I'm like, it tastes like Dr. Pepper.
I can taste the cream soda in the aftertaste.
Yeah, and afterwards, you get a little hint, a
Yeah.
whisper.
What's
Yes.
funny is it tastes like a cherry flavored thing to me, and I don't like it as much as regular Dr. Pepper or cream soda. I don't know. It's interesting. It's not what I was expecting at all.
I was expecting more.
I wouldn't pay money for it, but that's just me.
Oh, man, I ain't got a whole 12-pack at my house.
You're going to pass it off to the other people in your house.
You
Young
know,
people in my house.
I got an idea. I got all sorts of culinary ideas.
Let's put
ready.
the Za'atar in it.
Put some Za'atar on it. Yeah.
Woo!
You get some good Bing cherry ice cream and make a float out of this.
Well, now that
Bean
might not be
cherry ice
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more
Yeah.
cherry.
Is that a brand?
No, I think Tillamook has a good
Yeah, there's a
cherry
cherry.
ice cream flavored with actual cherries in it.
Yeah.
Like not maraschino cherries, but like
Bing cherries,
regular
yeah.
cherries. Yeah.
Oh, it's a type of
like
cherry.
dark, or like
Oh,
dark cherries. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with types
Maybe
of.
it's not. big
There's
cherries.
Rainiers and there's Bings.
Yeah,
beans.
I don't know my cherries. Sorry, everybody.
No, that's.
Oh, my Cherryheads listening out there. Like, that's the wrong kind of cherry.
Wrong, sir. No, I didn't. I had no idea, but now I know.
And knowing is half the battle,
That's right.
according to G.I. Joe.
Do they still make Cherry Garcia?
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
I bet
that's
you
what I'm
could.
gonna
That
do.
might not be bad, but then again, you put ice cream in anything, it's going to taste better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
not bad, but I'm not like.
I did
Yeah.
try to make a float with a stevia sweetened root beer once. And regular ice cream, that was a mistake. You got to have the same.
Yeah.
You got to have sugar.
Yeah.
You got to have the same sweetener.
Right. Right. Okay. Well.
All right.
Disappointment.
Sigh. We keep searching, though, don't we?
We do.
The
Just
search
keep
continues.
searching.
This is nice,
good
though.
one.
It is nice.
It's a nice
Okay.
break. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on. Sorry.
So we're going to keep this episode brief because it's a like a 5-week month, and we're close to the end of our Libsyn quota for storage for the month.
Right.
We're going to talk about the weather. This was a listener request.
Okay.
While we were out in the rain, I was asked by one of our listeners to do one on the weather. So I thought about how we could tie this into our general culture, history, written texts, to really put a library spin on it if we want to do that. So I'm going to be talking about the history of weather prediction a little bit in the form of almanacs and a very strange machine. Of course, this is not the whole history of predicting the weather, but one tradition, and then another tradition that's not a tradition, another thing that never became a tradition because it was too bizarre.
Okay.
Ready.
Ready? All right, we're going to talk about almanacs. The first use of the word almanac in Latin was in the 13th century by English polymath Roger Bacon, also known as Dr. Mirabilis,
What?
which sounds like an underground rapper with a huge vocabulary. I would want to go listen to Dr. Mirabilis.
Yes.
Oh,
I
it
think that would
sounds
be
like
very
a flim
impressive.
flam man to me.
Could be a flim flam
Like
man.
the guy with the cart and potions.
And snake oil.
Yeah.
Or a bass player for a black metal band who takes themselves way too
Yeah,
seriously.
that could be too. Yeah.
I see it.
There are a lot of different things, but this was, 13th century, 1200s, before calling yourself Dr. Mirabilis. Probably seemed as, or maybe it did seem as silly. I don't know.
Well, maybe it was cool.
Maybe it was cool.
What do we know?
So it's unclear what the etymology of the word almanac is. It's not really Latin. It's been suggested that it derives from Spanish Arabic, but that apparently doesn't really hold up. I guess people just think it sounds like a word that might be derived from Arabic, but it just, I could not find on my cursory level of research on this a clear etymology for the word.
Okay.
In any case, an almanac is generally an annual publication that includes weather forecasts, calendar dates, solar and lunar cycles, planting dates for farmers, tides, holidays, religious festivals, and other potentially useful dates and data. The earliest examples date to the 2nd millennium BCE. Excuse me. There goes that Dr. Pepper and cream soda. These early almanacs include the so-called Babylonian almanac, found by University of Baghdad archaeologists in the library of the Temple of Shamash at Sippar in Iraq in 1986. There are also examples from Egypt, laying out auspicious dates throughout the year. The annual flooding of the Nile was, of course, an important and predictable occurrence in ancient Egypt, but one that did not neatly align with the 365-day calendar that was in, official use. So it was helpful to have something else to keep track of when the flood was expected, all of that sort of thing. So that's how they started. We're going to fast forward, way forward, to the English colonies of North America in the 18th century. Almanacs were very popular at the time, and in 1732, Poor Richard's Almanac would make its debut. Poor Richard, or Richard Saunders, was a pseudonym of Benjamin Franklin, the wackiest founding father of the United States. It was hard for me not to just jump off of reading about Poor Richard's Almanac and read a bunch of Ben Franklin stuff, because there's a lot of Ben Franklin stuff. Yeah. I learn new things about Benjamin Franklin every time I hear about Benjamin Franklin. So one thing that Franklin enjoyed doing in his almanac was falsely predicting and falsely reporting the deaths of prominent astrologers as a joke. And so, he had a sense of humor, but he did try to make his almanac something that people would come to rely on and take seriously within the kind of humorous frame he did with his pseudonym there. This almanac would be an inspiration for other such publications like the Old Farmer's Almanac, which was founded in 1792, and the Farmer's Almanac, which was founded in 1818. Different publications, unrelated. Mm. These two I mentioned because they are still in publication. Yeah. And the Farmer's Almanac, I should note, will print its final edition this year. Wow. Farmer's Almanac has been going since 1818. Wow. This is going to be their last one in print. Wow. At least.
Are they going digital?
I don't know. I kind of gathered that they might not be. It might just be the end of the Farmer's Almanac. But the Old Farmer's Almanac, which is a few years older than the Farmer's Almanac, is still going. Both use their own proprietary formulas to predict the weather. And the Old Farmer's Almanac keeps their weather prediction algorithm, whatever it is, in a special secret black box that only certain people are allowed to take out and look at so that they can make a year's worth of weather predictions. Unfortunately, these predictions have not proven to be terribly accurate. Walsh and Allen found almanac predictions to be about 50% accurate in a 1981 analysis published in the journal Weatherwise. I did read that they are slightly more accurate than the groundhog at predicting the weather. But I don't want to dismiss almanacs on the basis of the weather predictions not panning out. There's a lot in these publications. Culturally, just there's a lot. There's a lot in an almanac. They are fun to read, and they contain a lot of stuff. You can learn a lot by going back through back issues of almanacs. And I highly recommend it. We always had an Old Farmer's Almanac lying around the house when I was a kid. They're very interesting publications. I wouldn't necessarily rely on them for weather forecasts, but
years in advance.
Take a look at them. You'll come across things that you wouldn't expect to find in other publications. There's so much their own thing. So on the subject of kind of old-fashioned means to predict the weather, I want to talk about the Tempest Prognosticator. We've talked about this in the office a little bit. Yeah. But for our listeners here, the Tempest Prognosticator was also known as the Leech Barometer. It's a device invented in the 19th century by the British inventor George Merriweather. And here's what it was. It was a bunch of little glass jars with a little dingly-do at the top. And if you pressed on the dingly-do, it would ring a central bell. And these glass jars were arranged in a ring around the bell. It looked kind of like a carousel with little glass bell jars as horses, if you can kind of picture this.
Okay, got it.
Inside the jar, each jar was one leech. So there were leeches, each with their own jar. And Meriwether's idea was that in response to either atmospheric pressure or electrical charge in the air from an approaching storm, this might prompt the leeches to climb up the jar and tinkle the dingly-doo at the top.
So scientific.
I don't remember the exact term here. Is this in here? Yeah, I forget if there was a technical term for this thing, this little stick or whatever it was that was sticking out. And so you could predict the approach of a storm by how often the bell started ringing. Meriwether pushed for the British government to use his invention to predict incoming storms. But the government chose to go with another device called the storm glass, which was invented by Vice Admiral Robert Fitzroy. The storm glass was a simpler device, I'll give it that. It was basically a glass test tube filled with, it says here, camphor, nitrate of potassium, and sal ammoniac dissolved by alcohol with water and some air. You know the little grow your own crystal kits? It's basically like that in a tube. So the idea was the solution inside the sealed tube was meant to crystallize or dissolve in response to atmospheric conditions, and that the state of the crystal inside the thing would be used to detect an incoming storm.
Well, okay.
They're cool looking. It's a neat little wizardy thing. Unfortunately, as it turns out, neither the leech barometer nor the storm glass actually work. The storm glass, as you might expect from a sealed glass thing, it's not really responding to pressure. It responds more to temperature than anything else. You warm it up, you cool it down, and the stuff in there is going to crystallize or dissolve in response to that. And leeches, they're just kind of busy being leeches, and sometimes they'll hit the bell, but they're just, they're not worried about the weather too much, really.
Yeah, they might just want to get out of the jar.
They might.
Let's climb to the top. What's this thing? Maybe if I ring it enough, somebody will let me out.
Yeah, and the leech barometer also has the downside of someone has to feed 12 leeches on the regular. I think George Meriwether fed his own leeches from his body to maintain his.
Yeah, so I was thinking that too. How do you keep the leeches alive? Well, they have to suck your blood.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So that's my quick little trip down the history of wacky weather predictions.
I have so many questions.
That's craziness.
Yeah.
So
But you got to give them credit for trying to invent something to predict the weather.
Yeah.
Because that is important to kind of know what's happening. But I know what my grandma would say. She'd just say, go look outside. If it's raining, it's raining. So just saying. There is a surefire way to know what it's doing outside.
It's true. You don't even need a leech.
That's right. Which is good because I don't know where you'd get one. Okay.
So we've got some weather-related movie picks for this week as well.
I do. So I picked two, and I can think of one other, but there's actually three, because one of them is just a kind of a sequel-y thing. The first one I picked was The Day After Tomorrow, and it's about there's a global warming triggers a new ice age, and tornadoes flatten Los Angeles, and a tidal wave engulfs New York City, and the entire northern hemisphere begins to freeze solid, and that's the exciting and thrilling thing. The scene I remember the most from this, because it made me kind of laugh, was so they've taken refuge in the New York Public Library, and they're on a floor and everything below them is frozen. So the tidal wave comes in, it freezes. There's, it's just craziness out there. People are freezing in the streets, and they're in the New York City Library, and there's a big room they're in that has a big fireplace. And so they start burning the books. And that's the reaction of a couple of the people. One of the librarians, "You can't burn the books." And the guy's like, "We either freeze to death or we burn the books," because, and I'm like, and I remember watching that going, that's a choice. That's a choice, isn't it? Do we burn the books or do we freeze to death? And they did manage to keep alive, but they started, I think in the movie, they make the thing about, well, we're going to start with the worst ones. And they start with like the encyclopedias, stuff like that. So anyway, it's not a bad movie. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal, Dennis Quaid, but it is a disaster movie. So, be prepared. The next one actually is two. So the first one was Twister. And that one I really liked. I remember seeing it in the theaters and it was really good. And the second one is Twisters with an S. And it's okay. It's nothing to do with the first one, not really. It's this kind of the same technology that they're using to try and get readings on tornadoes. And a lot of this is interesting to me because I lived in the Midwest in tornado country and have lived through a couple of tornadoes passing pretty close to my town. And the power of a tornado is immense. You cannot even little ones. One of the restaurants that we used to go to was totally flattened by a tornado about 10 miles from our house. And another person, a friend of ours, had a tree uprooted and slammed into the roof of his house by a tornado and damaged the entire house. And there was a Fairfield, Illinois, and this was a while ago, the whole town was flattened. No one died because they have a good tornado warning system, but the entire town no longer exists.
Wow.
And it's incredible to me, this force of nature, the way that they develop and how hard people work to try to understand, because there's such an incredible loss of property and unfortunately a loss of life if you can't move quick enough.
Yeah.
So I'll tell a funny story. When we first moved to the Midwest, we had no idea about tornadoes. We'd lived in the Pacific Northwest or in Montana for years. And we got there and it was probably been there about a month in our new rental. And we knew that tornadoes happened because people have been telling, "Oh yeah, you live in the Midwest, there's going to be tornadoes." And I was upstairs. It was like, 9, 10 o'clock. And I was upstairs getting ready for the day and all the kids had gone to school and my husband was out of the house. And this huge alarm went off, like, woo! I mean, it's this high-pitched, and I am like panicking. I'm like, what the heck is that? Because it's this siren. It's a huge siren. I'm in a panic and I run downstairs. I'm like, it can't be a tornado. Can it be a tornado? It's sunny outside. And I looked outside and it's sunny and the guy across the street is mowing his lawn.
What?
And people are walking their dogs. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, a friend of mine, I said to him, "Man, I just panicked the other day." And she's like, "Oh, well, every third Tuesday they set off the tornado alarm." What? I'm like, "What?"
What happens if a tornado comes on the third Tuesday?
And she's like, "That's the testing. So everybody kind of just knows it's going to happen and no one panics." And I'm like, well, I feel stupid because no one told me. The welcome wagon did not tell me that the tornado alarm goes off. But we did learn to be very aware of that. And especially when we had big storms come in, the sky changes. If you've never really lived through one, the sky turns green. Everything is very quiet. There's no natural sounds, no birds, no animals. It's just this. And the wind will usually be blowing. So oftentimes it's raining, but we would go out, the siren would go off and we would go out. And we always kept like water and flashlights and all that stuff down in our basement. And we would go out and look and you could, the worst one was about 1.5 miles from our town. It went by pretty rapidly. And But it's just this eerie, it's like the hair on the back of your neck stands up. I mean, it is this very interesting phenomena that I've never felt ever except at a tornado. And then you just like get in your basement and hunker down. And we've been stuck in our basement for a couple hours while they went by, and then they sound the all clear. But it's an interesting thing. Every mall, like my kids once got stuck at the mall during a tornado. Whoa. They have a shelter. You have to go in it. It's like this hallway, and it's crazy. But anyway, those are the three movies. If you like weather disaster movies, there's always other, disaster movies out there. I just didn't think of them on the fly. So
weather is always hard to predict. When it comes to the local day to day, it's easier to predict bigger picture stuff that's easier to model, climate, obviously storm systems and cold fronts and big picture stuff like that. You can visualize, you can see, you can measure, but local weather changes day to day, all that stuff is interacting in ways that no meteorologist can be 100% on knowing what it's going to do. And you can trace it all back after it happens probably, but you can't, you can't guess all the way, whether you've got a secret black box or a leech.
Right.
Those are probably going to be your least accurate, but even a good model, you're dealing in percentages and probabilities kind of.
Yeah.
And there's always stuff you don't know.
Right.
Yeah. There's microclimates too. Yeah. Which I didn't realize. But
What's a microclimate?
It's like the weather in this specific area is a little bit different than in like the general area. Does that make sense? Like I was learning when I was living in Washington, there's a microclimate in the Black Hills when you're heading west towards like the coast. And that can get more icy there. I don't know why, but it can get more icy there. So in the winter, you have to be a lot more careful. For example, that's one example.
Like how here in Toledo, when it's October, it's fall, and then you drive over to Newport, and seasons don't exist.
Right. Always 10 degrees colder or 10 degrees warmer.
A little context for our non-local listeners. Newport, Oregon is on the coast, and Toledo, the town we're in, is just 6 miles inland. The towns are basically right next to each other, but because one's on the coast and one is just a little bit into the hills, the weather is surprisingly different. Anyway, that's the context. Back to the show.
In Toledo. I'm going to go. Okay. I'm going to sign off, let these guys keep talking if they need to, but anybody that wants to come in and participate in February stuff, come on in.
Do it.
Yeah. To see ya.
Come see us.
All right.
Do we have time?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So, in the spirit of weather, I was going to talk about lighthouses because we're very close to the Oregon coast. And so I was going to talk about the lighthouses that we have here all along the coast, and then talk about their purpose and how they work in general.
Nice.
Very basic because you can go down a really big rabbit hole. The first one is Tillamook Rock in Central Oregon. The Tillamook Rock Lighthouse came about in 1880. Then there's Cape Meares. Where's Cape Meares? Oh, Tillamook.
Yep.
2. And then there's a local one in Newport, Yaquina.
Yaquina is a Yaquina word that means Yaquina.
Yeah, the end. So there's Yaquina Head, there's Yaquina Bay, and then there's, I practiced this one too. Let me know if I'm wrong. Is it Heceta Head? Or do you say it differently?
That's one like last week. I just don't say because I think you're right. Listeners, let us know.
Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm going to ask Nancy. She told me before, and I forgot.
And I believe there are some roads and stuff in the area, though, that are the same word spelled the same way that are pronounced differently.
Oh, that's like Couch and Cooch in Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Heceta is outside of Florence, which is a little bit further down the Central Coast. Like if you were heading west from Eugene, hit Florence. And then there's the one on the Umpqua River, Cape Arago. Oh, God. If I mess it up, please somebody tell me.
You're better with the local place names than I am.
Oh, no, I don't know. Okay, anyway. So that one's outside of Coos Bay. And then there's one on the Coquille River. Please let me know if I'm wrong again. Cape Blanco. Oh, so Coquille River is outside of Coos Bay in southern Oregon. And then Cape Blanco.
Is that the same Blanco that the Blanco Fracture Zone is named after?
Yo no sé.
I'll have to look it up. Yes, it looks like Cape Blanco may possibly have been named by the explorer Martin de Aguilar back in the early 17th century, and it wasn't named after somebody like I was thinking. It's just a descriptive name, just White Cape, you know. And the Blanco Fracture Zone, which is a fault line that runs along our coast out here, it's so named because it starts about 150 kilometers offshore of Cape Blanco. That one's always rumbling, so if you keep hearing about, there are all these little earthquakes happening off the coast, usually that's just rumbling along the Blanco Fracture Zone. It's not related to, the big one, the Cascadia Subduction event, which is when the Juan de Fuca plate is going to go ka-chunk, and that's going to be really, really big. But the Blanco Fracture Zone, it's a busy little guy. Port Orford.
Where's that?
It's in southern South Coast.
Oregon.
Yeah, Curry County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there's Cleft of the Rock, nestled in the northern shadows of Cape Perpetua. That's also outside of Tillamook. And
Tillamook's got a lot of lighthouses.
Gosh, who knew? And then there's the last one is Pelican Bay Lighthouse, which is above the Chetco River, southern Oregon.
Okay.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 11 lighthouses all up and down the coast. I think Yaquina might be the only one that's still working 100%. There's also one that the Coast Guard maintains. I'm forgetting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've got the Yaquina Headlight, which is the lighthouse from The Ring, the American remake, and then there's the Yaquina Bay Light, which was only in service for that little amount of time that just got its new cupola recently. It was the lantern. They had to send out to a company in Alabama for a new lantern. They took the cupola off, but it was the lantern that needed fixing up.
So, lighthouses of years past had oil lamps and kerosene. And so the lighthouse keepers would have to have kerosene on hand, and then they'd have to have extra just in case the first one went up in smoke. But with the advent of electricity, they moved on to the Fresnel lens. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. I looked it up.
It looks like Fresnel, but I know it's
Fresnel,
not.
But it's not. I think it's Fresnel lens technology. So it's a specialized multi-piece glass lens that concentrates light from a central source into a powerful focus beam, which maximizes visibility for everybody on the ocean, the mariners. So what I didn't know is that each lighthouse emits a unique timed flashing pattern, allowing sailors to identify their location along the coast, which is so the Yaquina Heads is 2 seconds on, 2 seconds off, 2 seconds on, 14 seconds off. So each one has their own signature, so you know where you are. So the conversion from the oil and kerosene lamps happened in the 60s. And mostly lighthouses are built so that they help ships avoid dangerous rocks and help them navigate to river entrances.
It surprises me that it's so late that they switched to electric.
I know. It didn't happen until the 60s.
Wow. Crazy time, yes. I hear. It was the guy who did the light shows for the Grateful Dead was like, I could put this in a lighthouse, man. This could stop lighthouses from catching on fire, man. Whoa.
Okay. So, of the 9 original lighthouses on the Oregon coast, 7 are open to the public and most are still active. If you time it just right, you can go inside and take a tour. And then there are 2 lighthouses that are certified by the U.S. Coast Guard. And that's what I got. The end.
Yeah, I took a walk up the hill behind Yaquina Headlight a couple weekends ago. I try to do that somewhat regularly, and it's a great little walk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We went there as a family. We like walked all around, and then you can go, there's like steps you can take down to the, what is that, to see the like tide pools.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So cool.
Yeah, you can see seals down there sometimes.
Yeah, there were seals sleeping. It was great.
Yeah, that's a really cool place. Yeah, and the I'm not sure if the Bay Light is open again right now, but that's a great little historical museum inside there. It's more of a house, like an actual house that they retired because it turns out you couldn't actually see it from the ocean.
Wow.
After they put it up. They're like, oopsie daisies. You
What?
can only see it for like a fraction of its potential viewing angles. So they put the Yaquina headlight up that you can actually see from all directions.
Wow.
I think it was 4 years
Oh my gosh.
that the Bay Light was in operation, but it's a really cool building.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the lights, you can see them for like up to 21 miles, 21, 22, which is crazy. That's so far. Yeah.
That is far. Everybody stay away from the rocks.
Yes.
Stay away from the leeches.
Yes.
And do drink some Dr. Pepper.
No.
The Free Bin is a production of the Toledo Public Library, which is part of the Lincoln County Library District in beautiful Lincoln County, Oregon. Writing by Cindy Bilek, Sophia Kahn, and Harrison Baker. Original music by Harrison Baker. Editing by Harrison Baker and Sophia Kahn. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of any organization they represent. Good night.